Well, in 1953, an American by the name of James Watson and a British guy by the name of Francis Crick, Watson and Crick, proposed that the structure of DNA was a double helix. And it was so outrageous, they sort of side-railed it, and it took 9 years before everybody did their own experiments to confirm or tear apart their theory, and sure enough, they found that they were correct. So they got the Nobel Prize in 1962, 9 years later. Well, in 2003, and here they are in 1962, having gotten their Nobel Prize. By 2003, we had mapped out the human genome at the cost of trillions of dollars, and 28 countries working on it. And we were able to find all the various genes that belong in all the different chromosomes and attribute many diseases to the different genes. And we were on our way then. We had the blueprint now. We knew what we needed to do to build the good genes to fill in the bad ones, right? That was the goal. And by 2010, we had 850 screening tests for genetic diseases. And we were getting cool here, right? I want you to test your babies when they're born for 850 diseases. And prevent Parkinson's disease 40, 50 years down the line. Prevent Alzheimer's disease, prevent heart attacks, prevent kidney disease, liver disease, and so on. Well, by March of 2013, people are getting really nervous now. It had been 60 years since the double helix had been proposed. It had been 100 years since people knew about DNA and RNA and the biochemistry of it. And nobody had figured out a way to prevent or cure a single disease with genetics. Started getting nervous. So they asked James Watson, who was the director of the Cold Springs Laboratory in Manhattan, New York. It's a federal laboratory that studied genetics. They said, okay, we need an update. We need some sort of conference here. We need to know what's going on in genetics. We want to know what diseases are near to being cured from genetics. Is it 1? Is it 5? Is it going to be next week? Is it going to be 10 years from now? Where are we at? Give us an update. So Watson was invited to the Salk Institute at the University of California, San Diego, to give this report, March 22nd, 2013. Watson gets in front of the audience of 300 people. I wasn't invited. But these 300 people, 150 of them, half of them were Nobel Prize winners, mostly in biochemistry and medicine and genetics. And the other 150 were professors of medicine, professors of genetics and biochemistry and so forth. And he gets up in front of these people and he says his opening words, and I'm quoting him now, and I can do this because his quotes are in red. Have you ever read a newspaper story, even with the president saying something, where the quotes are in red? To highlight it so you'd be sure to read it. Never. And here's what he said. You can sequence the genes of 150,000 people every day. People who you think have a genetically transmitted disease like cancer, diabetes, and so forth. You're never going to cure a single disease. I'm quoting him continuously now. I'm still quoting him. He says, all the experiments we've done over the last 6 years are irrelevant. He says, none of it's genetic. It's all chemistry, biochemistry, aka nutrition. Now, the reason why my book is in the Smithsonian Institute, that 1,200-page book, because in 1983 I said the same thing. Because when you do 20,000 autopsies, 17,000 some change of over 450 species of zoo animals and 3,000 humans and 10 million chemistries and 10 million types of special stains looking for pollution, but you also do nutritional studies. And you find human genetic diseases in alligators and hummingbirds. You have a problem, Houston. I brought that up. How can alligators have human genetic diseases? How can a little monkey, a non-human, get cystic fibrosis? Which is supposed to be a genetically transmitted disease in humans. And so with his speech, genetic theory went away. It's a failed medical theory.